It's weed day.
What? Then I got high.
What?
Now I'm shining through. And I know why.
Why, man?
Hey, yeah, cause I got high. Cause I got high.
You didn't edit that
Cause I
part.
got high. Well, because I knew you'd say it every time. So it's the time of the show where we go through Weed Diary, and we have two guests today, which is awesome. And so sometimes we put you on the spot, but
Jane West.
Jane West is here.
Claudio
from
WeedGuide.
From WeedGuide are here. And
WeedGuide.com.
so Weed Diary is a segment that's about normalizing marijuana. There's so many people that use it regularly that are finally feeling confident enough to share that use with people.
Right.
So me, as someone who used it to get through law school and didn't understand that it had a lot more to do with it, but then when I quit being a lawyer, had it open up my eyes to like how to be able to integrate with God in this world in a way that works for me.
Right.
You know, my part of the segment has now turned to kind of a product review, but more of an objective look at like different types of herb and how you can use it differently. So we had, gosh, what a wonderful show we had last week, right?
It was an awesome one, right?
So do you have any of the oils left here? Because I think we gave them all to the scenesters, huh?
Yeah, so we've had a lot of different oils come through, and since this is the season finale, we want to make sure that we shout out to all of the different products that have come through for the review section. And
Right.
one of them that that I remember from the season was the Holy Anointing Oil.
So if we started with the anointing oil and say that was kind of the first one that I used to see what it was about, and this is a company that made the recipe from Exodus. And if you go back to the ancient translations, there's a strict point in time where there was a few different Latin translations that came out where a certain herb, and the name is dropping out of my brain right now, that was cannabis, was interpreted as a different herb, as an ancient extinct herb. But there's a ton of credibility in the interpretations that say that herb is cannabis. So this company takes that and makes an anointing oil, and we've done some ceremonies with it. I've used it in numerous ways. I blessed my guitars with it. It's really an interesting thing because the vibration's there no matter what. So if you connect with the cannabis in that way and ask it to make something pure, I mean, that's what it's designed for. The endocannabinoid system is our purification system. It is our filter. So
it's our balancer.
So we started there, but then last week we had Elizabeth on.
Right.
And why is what's the name of her company?
Coda Signature.
Coda Signature, right?
Elizabeth Cook, from the president of Coda Signature.
Elizabeth,
she was chilling.
And she's awesome. And I'm familiar with their company mostly because of how delicious their food is. So right here, she gave us some of their new products, which is infused oils to try out.
Nice.
And one of them is like the most magical pain reliever that I've ever experienced is a 1-to-1 THC CBD oil. If you have pain, if you have arthritis, if you have issues with your back, if your head is cloudy, this non-scented hemp-based 1-to-1 is
always
magic.
love a 1-to-1.
And we learned that we can split it. You can split it with almost anything. It goes directly to the pain and it spreads like from the center of the pain out. So it's got magic. It goes and finds the center. And this is actually the bath bombs, huh?
That was the bath bombs.
So,
it's made with the same oil.
Same company,
yep.
But
Amazing.
the one that I'm like the most geeked out about is their 1-to-1. It doesn't have any other essential oils, but then they have the Balance Calm. And
You're talking
Uplift.
about the Pure.
So the Pure oil is the one from Coda that it's undeniably medicinal.
Cool.
And I used it on my back. I had some issues with the side of my neck that have been going on and off for like 5 years, and I just kept rubbing it. And, you know, it's something that I'm going to integrate in regularly and see what happens because I felt not only the pain go away, but I'm feeling it want to go away. I know that it's helping. So then there's a line of specific symptom-based oils as well. And there's an uplift, a calm, and a balance.
Have you seen them yet?
They're really cool.
They look,
And they smell great. And for someone who doesn't like the toxins in cologne and perfume, they have a scent and it sticks around. But I'm doing, the mystical points with all three of them. And I took notes actually this week about it. And it's interesting because they didn't necessarily have the same effect that they're marketed for on me. The uplift one actually calmed me down. So I was like, well, cool. Well, that's the truth. The balance one is mostly lavender, and lavender like balances me anyway. So the scent is like something that I'm already used to and that I like. And then the calming one is just really like more of an activator. It was those two had the opposite effect for me.
Sometimes the sativas affect you the way that indicas do, and the indicas, I mean.
But it's interesting because I have some limited experience with the aromatherapy. Is that the herb definitely accelerated it, and instead of having to sit there in a room and breathe aromatherapy and do intentional breathing and ask it to help and do all that stuff, it's like, Chad, my nano intentions with this stuff was magic, dude.
Yeah.
So I would say I highly recommend it, and I know that there's always a price tag connected to this stuff. But if you don't try it, you won't understand how valuable it is, and you won't understand how much money it can save you in so many other ways. So my weed diary this week is like, Coda's a good company, and Elizabeth was a really nice lady and really genuine. And she was a cool lady. We should support local companies that not only like try new things and make sure that they're involved on the front end of development, but like do it with love. Yeah. And do it with like the genuine intention of saying, you know what, my life now is going to be involving helping other people learn that this is medicine, not toxin. Right. So with that said, Claudio, Jane, either of you guys get touched by cannabis, Lady Cannabis this week? Anything to share? Or even whenever, whatever you want to share about your use, it's normalization.
I went to... So I'm starting to sell the mini joints into dispensary chains in Colorado, and I'm really doing my best to get to know each one of the stores and their ethos. And so I went to Igati in Tabernash, which have you been there?
I have not. I've been to a different one of theirs.
I've never the entire lobby. They have a lot of space, and they've done the best with it to educate the consumers. So when you're in the waiting room, there's huge, like the size of at the zoo, windows, and they have the clones and the babies, and then they have a separate room for potting, and then they have the room where everything is being harvested, and you can see their staff and how it works and how it's harvested. It's incredible.
It's like looking in on the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. And then you go into the main dispensary area, and there they cut out a component of the wall so you can see into the kitchen. And they grow all the flour, and then they make the extracts, and then they make their own, sweet peaks and other things. Yeah. And you're watching it be made right there. I've never had a more like complete experience, and the products I got were amazing.
That Tabernash location does seem to be a pretty popular place. It's right there on the drive next to Winter Park.
So educational.
That's cool.
Letting people get the inside. Experience. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. Anything on you?
Yeah. So, I was talking to you guys about how I got into the industry.
Talk closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I was talking to you guys about how I got into the industry and through a friend. And I've always tried to, I got two young boys, 5 and 9. Hi, guys.
Right on.
What up?
I always like to be, as an older dad and younger kids, especially 2 boys, you got to be constantly chasing them around, and I don't want to have a lot of energy. And truth be told, I lived a kind of a hard life. I got 29 broken bones.
Wow!
Oh my goodness!
Good for you, man. You look great for a man that has 29 bones broken. No,
and a bunch of knee surgeries and stuff like that. And so I'm always trying to like maintain my athletic performance and stuff. And so my friend, shout out to my co-founder Todd DiRoberto. He's like, you should be, as I was exploring the cannabis space, and he's like, you really should be looking at like CBDs and all this stuff. And then he turned me on to this salve that I and I had been putting on, I don't know, God knows, Ben Gay and all these things for my knees and stuff like that. And so he made the salve for me, and it was like the best thing ever for me. And so
just immediately, right?
Yeah, immediately.
Like it worked right away the first time.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
It's so odd because you don't realize sometimes, and this is I think true. It's like you don't realize how bad something is, and when it's every day,
right?
Until you
get
relief.
Had a headache every day, for your whole life, you would never know what normal is. And so I went through. Not that I was in constant pain, but I just like, oh my God, this is great. And so I started using it on a regular basis, and now I don't use knee brace to snowboard anymore.
Right on.
Yeah, and so it's it's a super therapeutic for me. And so like anytime I go, I was just at I don't know if you were at MJ BizCon.
Everybody was. I mean, every fucking buddy was. Sorry.
Crazy stuff.
We stayed here and did a show.
We did.
Cool. We had a good show.
So I was there and I saw lots of different vendors, and I was always totally interested in the CBD stuff, and to see that whole area of cannabis, just the level of professionalism and the focus,
interesting,
everything
right?
from delivery.
I've seen a lot of the people that you refer to on WeedGuide as newbies.
Yeah.
Get introduced to the cannabis industry the exact way.
Yeah, and so
I've seen tons of them.
Yeah,
right.
that's the way it
I
all worked
started
for most
originally as a
people.
recreational user, but now as an old, I really, for me, we were talking about some of the personas and how we built our own profile. A good friend of mine, he's a veteran and he suffers from PTSD. He was injured, and he talked about the benefits that he has using cannabis and with PTSD. And then we started talking about other medicinal benefits and aches and pains and stuff that's you can use 1-to-1 or you can use just CBD, and it's just really amazing. And then just to see the science behind it, because it's been scarce, as we talked about some of the finding those resources, and just see that
the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And it's like I know I say this sometimes, but it's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Everyone played that game, and it's 6 degrees of someone who's been healed by cannabis, but it's probably more like 3 now in our country. Like I don't understand why the agenda that doesn't want to see it come doesn't listen to their grandma when they're saying, I'm using it for my arthritis for real. And it's just because of the money thing, and the money's the bottom line. But one of the things that I've seen about the industry, being involved with like wonderful, bright folks coming through every week, and me and Chad just learning so much, and Kelson having his wonderful story, and it's just really affected all of us. We talk about it regularly. Cannabis is in control of the industry. Like those hooks aren't getting put in. The people voted down legalization in just 2 years ago because they didn't like how the legislation looked. So when it comes down to it, if the big money tries to take the medicine out of our medicine, we're not going to let it happen, because too many people are balancing their lives just by simply including this in it every day.
Yeah, and as long as you're fighting the fight the right way.
Like, we are not necessarily insulated. We have to be aware, and we have to know that there are people who are in it for reasons that aren't to heal people. But at the same time, the world's ready for her medicine, and it's being spread exponentially throughout the world. So
I got a quick weed diary real quick, and we'll throw it to break.
Then we got to do a review.
Diary, I'm giving it a little shout out to Wana. They have a new strawberry CBD heavy gummy. The biggest reason why I love them is that they donate to a veterans cause called Grow for Vets. Hit me up anytime, budtenderstars@gmail.com, and I can put you in touch with them. But I was at one of their events. I was asked to come and speak in front of like 25, 50 vets last night. Thanks to all you guys that showed up at the Open Vape offices. It was awesome. It was a touching time, and thanks to Wana for giving the love to the veterans.
Big shout out. And they've been doing it since Chad's been working with the vets organization. Wana's been involved in donating. So
they're a good company. Much love. Right on. We're going to be back with Bud Tender Games. Stick around.
Anyone like to try?